What comes to your mind when you hear Nigerians call themselves the giant of Africa? This has actually raised a lot of arguments on the internet and even on TVs, on shows, and everything amongst other African nations, saying why Nigerians are actually calling themselves the giant of Africa. And to other African nations, it's the fact that they feel like Nigerians feel that they are superior to other African nations. That is the reason why they call themselves the giant of Africa. Like, what comes to their mind when Nigerians call themselves the giant of Africa is superiority. And in today's episode, I'm going to be explaining to you if actually Nigeria is the giant of Africa and if they should actually not call themselves the giant of Africa. First of all, I'm going to be telling you some features about Nigeria before we dive straight into whether Nigeria is the giant of Africa, why they call themselves that, and if they should actually even call themselves that. Okay, thank you so much for stopping by on today's episode. Do not forget to join the family because right here we talk about Africa, making it better, and giving tips on how to survive the harsh conditions of Africa. Okay, you guys. So first of all, there are some features about Nigeria that they feel that or some Africans feel that is the reason why they are calling themselves the giant of Africa. So number one is the population. Nigeria has the most populated is actually the most populated nation in the African continent. It has at about almost 230 or almost 240 something million people or citizens, and that is a whole lot. Where we have some countries in Africa that has 30 something million, 50 something million. You have Nigeria with 200 and almost 40 something million people. Another feature about Nigeria is the fact that they have abundance of natural resources, and this ranges from oil, from cocoa, a whole bunch of things as natural resources in Nigeria. And that is why some African countries just feel like probably this is the reason why they call themselves the giant of Africa. Another feature about Nigeria is the fact that the entertainment industry in Nigeria is amazing. It's something that is talked worldwide. It's something that is actually booming in Nigeria among the African continent, and it is just one thing. When you talk about entertainment in the African continent, Nigeria just have it. Like, they just give it to Nigeria. Okay, so another thing about Nigeria is the fact that they have like the largest or one of the largest economy in Africa. When it comes to economy, like Nigeria has it. They are big on economy. Okay, their economy is actually large. They have a whole bunch of things. The economy is actually one of the largest in the continent. Another thing about Nigeria is the fact that they are influential. Now, when it comes to the most popular country in the continent of Africa, Nigeria has that popularity. Nigeria is so influential. Nigeria is popular. There is nothing you want to talk about the African continent without you mentioning Nigeria. In most cases, if you need something to actually really go viral, or you need something to actually really pop up to make it really popular, you want people to know about it, the fact that you can actually take it to Nigeria or give it to a Nigerian and is going to put their magic on it and that thing is just going to blow up is also one of the reasons why some African nations feel like they call themselves the giant of Africa and everything. But do Nigerians really are supposed to call themselves the giant of Africa? Are they even looking like this is supposed to be a name for themselves and stuff like that. Now there are some things that we are going to look out here before we know whether they are supposed to call themselves that or they are not supposed to call themselves that. Now with the word giant, when you call the word giant as an individual, what comes to your mind? Okay, what comes to your mind? What do you think it is? Aside from the literal meaning, what do you think it is? If somebody is telling you, I'm a giant, like what comes to your mind about that person? Now, it is going to also make you see Nigeria in the particular way you actually see Nigerians. Okay, so it depends on what comes to your mind first of all, and that is what you are going to like portray to see, like this is the reason why these people call themselves that. And that is what some African nations or some African nationals in the African continent are actually thinking, because when they talk about giants, they see superiority, they see being powerful, they see a suppressor or an oppressor, stuff like that and everything. But from the Nigerian perspective, when they call themselves the giants of Africa, there are a number of things that actually comes to their mind, and that is why they call themselves that. So I am going to actually dive right into it right now. Number one is the fact that Nigerians are open-minded people. Nigerians are people that they don't really take stuff seriously, like in the sense of it, they don't really, not like they are not serious minded people, that's not what I'm saying. They don't really take things too serious to heart like that. For example, you offend them, they will now want to take it too serious like that, and then turn you to an enemy or whatsoever. They wouldn't do that. If you still find yourself in one issue or the other, and a Nigerian can help you or Nigeria can help you, they will still come out and help you. They feel like they don't really need to put up that really huge hatred for anyone or any African nation, and that is something that I really love about them. They are super open-minded. Okay, they don't, you can quarrel today and then you guys are doing your thing tomorrow. It's not something that they really take like too personal. Okay, so Nigerians are open-minded, and that is one of the reason. Number two reason is the fact that Nigerians can come to your aid even when they don't have it. Okay, now we can see from the history of Africa and some events that has actually, happened in Africa as a whole, and we can see how Nigeria or Nigerians has actually come out to, help their fellow brothers and sisters from other African nations, from one issue or the other. They are just these people that even when they don't have it, they would still give it to you. The one they have, they will give it to you, not minding the fact that they might starve of that particular thing. They are just givers. And this is something that sometimes when I think about it, I feel like this is too extreme, because how can you really just give something to somebody knowing that you may not have that thing again, or maybe you are going to need to survive on that thing for a period of time, but you just have to give it out because the other person is in need? And this is something that most African nations would not even do. If there is a situation right now where Nigeria is in problem, you would really not see, not like it wouldn't happen, but you would really not see that push from other African nations coming to help. Okay, but when it comes to Nigeria helping other African nations, they really don't think about it. They really don't see it as a problem. They really don't see this as an issue to really deliberate. They just want to help, make sure you come out of that situation, and then they see you smile again. That is like one of the joy for them. Okay, so I feel like this is something that is making them call themselves the giants of Africa, because you can, when it comes to you saying that you are a giant, or when it comes to from the Nigerian perspective, of course, it's something that shows how much you love other people. It's something that shows how much you can sacrifice for other people. It's something that shows how much you care from other people aside your own, okay? Not making other people feel like they are not wanted, they are not needed, or they cannot be helped because they are not you, or because they are not part of you. Nigeria is a place, or there are people that see the whole of Africa as one, and they always come out to do their thing when it comes to protecting, when it comes to helping, when it comes to giving their own kind of assistance and everything. And I feel like this is actually a good one, because this is what Africa really needs. Africa really needs that support from each and every nation in Africa to each and every other nation in Africa, because that is the only way Africa can actually grow. When that support is there, when that that you have that shoulder to cry on when stuff like that happen to you, or when things are actually not going well with you and everything. So Nigeria just feel like they are a big brother. Should I even use that word? But they just feel like if you call on them, it's a need for them to really help you, especially when you actually call on them. Sometimes they don't even need you to call, okay? They don't really need you to call. Once they see you are in a situation that they know they can bring out that help, or they know they can come up with a solution for you, they just do it. So let me know in the comment, do you really think that all of these reasons are something that is even worth somebody calling himself, or a nation calling themselves the giant of Africa? Do you really think that even with all of this, it is something that Nigerians should call themselves the giants of Africa? Another thing about Nigerians, or why they call themselves the giants of Africa, is their uniqueness. There is a way they do their thing. There is just a way that is unique to them, that they actually act, that they actually speak, that they actually do their maybe solve their problems, or even get by their troubles. So even when they are in dire trouble, when they are actually in really big trouble, when they are messed up and everything, you kind of like still see them smile. You kind of like still see them, still come out, do their thing every other day or every day, and they are doing great. You really wouldn't tell, except they tell you that something is wrong. So they are kind of like unique. They are just unique in their way. They are unique in almost everything that they do. And I feel like this is another reason why they call themselves the giants of Africa. But altogether, or generally, Nigerians don't really see themselves as superior or as an oppressor. This is not the reason why they call themselves, or why Nigeria call themselves the giants of Africa. They just feel like this is something that we love. This is who we are. They've accepted it, and they've given it to themselves. So another thing is the fact that as an individual or as a nation, you can actually call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. This is not something that you would need other nations or other persons to actually sign for you, like give you a go ahead to do it, as long as it is not hurting any other person, like directly, physically, stuff like that. Then I feel like you can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. It just determines, or it just depends on your confidence, what you think you are, and what you're actually radiating. Okay, so this is just my own 2 cents, and this is what I feel. And I don't want Africans to actually think that Nigeria is actually calling themselves the giants of Africa because they feel like they are superior to every other African nations in the African continent. Of course, it is not that. Okay, so let me know in the comment section what you think about Nigerians calling themselves the giants of Africa. Do you really think that all of these points are actually valid to the point where they should be calling themselves like the giants of Africa? And let me also know in the comment section what comes to your mind when you hear them call themselves the giants of Africa and everything. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode today, and I will see you all in the next one.